Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Koopafantasy. This is my Week 2 sit-start recap, where I try to keep true to myself and tell you guys how I did with my Week 2 sit-em startums. I don't want this to take too long. I still have to upload my Week 3 sit-start, and there's a game tonight that I kind of gapped out on. I have two players on my list, if not more, who are going to be included in the game tonight, so I want to get that uploaded in a bit better quality, so I'm going to do this one straight on YouTube, upload, that's why it's so grainy. And I'm going to go, as soon as I'm done this, I'm going to go do the other, my sit start week 3 in better quality. So let's get into it, guys. My stardom for week 2, I had Matt Castle at QB, one of the few guys who came through for me, actually. He had 300 yards, 2 TDs, 25 yards rushing. Unfortunately, he lost a fumble, but still some pretty good stats if you needed a QB for week 2 and you plugged in Matt Castle. Alfred Morris, it could have been 100 yards and a TD. Unfortunately, it was only 89 yards rushing. He missed a chance at scoring about a 10-yard, I think it was a touchdown pass. But still, 8-point day for the guy. He's looking like he could be the guy for Washington going forward. I picked him up in a few leagues. I'm feeling pretty good about having him on my team right now. But Jarvis Green Ellis had a 10-point day with 75 yards rushing and 3 catches for 30 yards. Not bad. Would have loved to see a TD, but still, if you have Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, you gotta be loving it right now, especially if you're looking at other guys who had Chris Johnson and Darren McFadden, guys who are just crap in the bed right now, so to speak. Lance Moore did not come through for me at all. 2 catches, 30 yards. I really did not expect the Saints to drop another game like this, especially against the division rival Carolina. The absence of Coach Payton could be worse than I guess I thought it was going to be. I still think Lance Moore could be a good option going forward, but he didn't do it in week 2, so I guess have caution with Lance Moore. But I still think he's a pretty good option, and even in week 3, I believe he's got a pretty good matchup, so look into that. Titus Young was even worse, 1 catch for 11 yards. The Lions had a tough game against 49ers. I thought the 49ers apparently last year had a sick rush D. Now they have a sick pass D. They just seem to do it all. So I'm not very confident with many fantasy players against the San Fran unless they're just pure studs. Alshon Jeffrey, even worse, 1 catch for 7 yards. The GB the Packers and Bears game was just ugly from a fantasy perspective unless you had one of their defenses with all those sacks. So Alshon Jeffrey, definitely not what I expected. It's kind of hard to say what's going to happen with him going forward. So I'd probably be putting him on my bench and waiting to see some more consistency out of him and the Bears. And then my situms, I suggested you sit Michael Vick, and that was a terrible decision if you did it. And hopefully he's enough of a stud that you considered me an idiot and were just sat or played Michael Vick anyways. He lost a fumble, but still had a crap load of yards in the air, some yards rushing with a TD pass at the end that won the game against the Ravens. So Michael Vick, he's a stud. Got to play him going forward. I thought I could get away with one this week, sitting him, but definitely couldn't. Michael Turner, he was handed a touchdown, and then after that, only ever got 40 yards. Looked extremely ugly for the majority of the game. Had like some 10-yard runs towards the end of the game that kind of padded his only 42 yards. So and then he got a DUI after the game. I'm sure everybody's heard about that. So Michael Turner is looking like a sit in the week to comes as well. Beanie Wells had 44 yards rushing, caught a 24-yard catch, so about 6 yards, 6 point something if you do fractions. He's looked pretty bad to the first 2 weeks, but Ryan Matthews has looked even worse, considering. So I wouldn't drop Beanie. I just wouldn't be playing him anytime soon. I might just wait for him to explode the way he did early last season. He still has that potential. Mike Wallace, this guy is quietly just getting it done. Had 30 yards in a TD last week, increased it to 70 yards in a TD this week. He's looking like just a great play going forward. I thought, kind of like Vic, I could get away with one here in a bad matchup, but I was wrong. And then I told you, suggested you sit Stephen Hill if you grabbed him and wanted to play him. And hopefully you listened to me this time because Stephen Hill did not register a catch on, I believe, only 2 targets. So I wouldn't be playing Stephen Hill anytime forward either. But I might not be so quick to drop him either. But if you need the roster spot, yeah, I'm pretty sure I picked him up maybe 2, 3 leagues. I know I've dropped him in one already for another player I needed. And then my last one was Malcolm Floyd, another mistake. It looks like Floyd's going to be the guy for Rivers again, or Rivers this year instead of Meacham. Meacham's been a big bust for me. I have him in 2 leagues. I've been starting him, expecting some production, and I have been greatly disappointed. So I will not be playing meet him anytime soon, I don't think. It looks like Malcolm Floyd's the guy to go with if you have a San Diego Charger receiver. And I have a write-up on my blog about the next players I'm going to talk about, who are the breakouts and guys that might want to go pick up off the waiver wire this week. I'm just going to quickly name them here. If you want to read why, go to my blog, Koopafantasy.com, and check it out. So number one is Danny Amendola, 15 catches, 160 yards in a TD. Guy's a PPR monster. Go grab this guy if he's available. Dante Rosario, if you have Antonio Gates, make sure you're getting this guy as a handcuff. Andrew Hawkins for Cincinnati. Scott Chandler, the tight end for the Bills. Donnie Avery, wide receiver for the Colts. Jackie Battle, running back for San Diego. This is kind of only if Ryan Matthews won't be back. Andre Brown for the Bears with Ahmad Bradshaw out. This guy's a good play, especially if you had Ahmad Bradshaw. And then Daryl Richardson, if you have Steven Jackson, could be a good handcuff, but he has a terrible matchup this week, so I wouldn't be playing him this week if you're grabbing Daryl Richardson, running back for the St. Louis Rams. Alright guys, that is it for my recap of my Week 2 sit start. I am going to end this video ASAP. Check out my blog, Koopa Fantasy, Koopa Fantasy.com. Read all my articles, upvote stuff, or like it, rate it, do all that cool stuff. I'm going to get out of here and make my other video. Week 3 sit start coming right up, guys. Peace out.